Welcome to Off the Cuff with Des and Zane. I'm your host, Zane Thomas.
And I am your host, Carissa Des. And this is our special guest over here, Kyler from Fortune Ave Studios.
Absolutely. So, thank you. We already got some people in the chat, so if you guys are hanging out, thank you for coming and kicking it with us. We're gonna
Make sure you share it out.
Yeah, please do. Go hit that share button. So I just want to ask the question. I love to ask this on my other show, and I love to ask it of just people in general. What are you excited for, Kyler?
I am excited for, the biggest thing I'm excited for right now is the studio just purchased a record lathe, and we're going to be able to start cutting vinyl and the machine. I'm going to set up the machine to do live to vinyl recording.
Live to vinyl recordings.
Which is... The way that's set up is the performer will be in the live room playing their song, and I'll be in the control room managing the signal flow, and whatever gets performed gets cut straight to a disc.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. It sounds like you'd be able to kind of just get like a you'd be able to record something that like you wouldn't be able to record again. So if you were recording straight to vinyl, you'd be like, hey, this is like a one-time thing.
Yeah,
so
it's kind of like our live stream.
Exactly.
Yeah, kind of like our live stream. Check it out, hit that share button.
Then there's no way of editing it.
Yep.
Yeah, Kyler, actually, I met him at a festival, and he told me about what he does, and I didn't really understand it because I'm not really like an audio
Most people don't.
like a tech person. So he actually had us, Zane and I, over this weekend and showed us around his studio and explained a little bit more about what he does.
I like to call my recording studio a hybrid studio. We have tape machines there. We can record 100% analog as well as digital. And I have a few designs for the physical media that we're going to start making out of there that are going to incorporate both of them. One of the designs I'm working on with a few people right now is we're recording songs digitally and then recording a song 100% analog. And then the way that these are going to be packaged is it's going to be a CD where you can put the CD into your CD player and listen to the digital recordings. And then for the analog recording, you could take the CD, flip it over, put it on your record player, and listen to a single. So the secret's out now.
Secret's out. Off the record.
Yeah, no, I'm not the only person that's doing that.
To repeat that, he has like a record on one side that you can put on your record player, and then you flip it over, and you could play it as like a CD as well. That's
and then
really
I have to explain how that works to most people because they're like, "How does that even work?"
Yeah.
And I can hold up a CD.
So, and this is your music. This
is one of my old CDs. This was a post-college project. So when you have the CD, all of the data gets burned into the sticker or the image that's on the front. And it's going to be hard to see in this video, but
it's fine. We'll imagine.
When you put the CD in a CD player, the information gets read from the inside out. And you can see on this disc, this is a longer CD, the digital data ends about where my fingernail is on the disc. But this is a really long album. So if we had roughly 20 to 30 minutes of digital music, the ring would end about halfway on the disc. And then with the record lathe, we take the analog recording, and you put the CD on the record lathe, and then it cuts the single from the outside of the disc towards the center.
Okay.
And
so
then
it plays from the outside in.
Yeah.
Okay,
and so how a record works, when you're listening to the record, you get to, and most of you probably know this, when you get to the end of the record, there's a lead out ring that
I knew that
keeps the disc spinning on the record player, but there's no music. And that's roughly a couple seconds. The Beatles used that lead out ring before to have like a loop going at the end of their Sgt. Pepper Lonely Hearts Club Band
All right.
So it
album.
loops the whole.
So it just
all the
loops
songs
it.
again?
No, it just loops in a circle until you grab the record needle
Sure.
or the record player arm and stop the disc.
Just so you don't
So-
hear like the little.
So when
At
you
the
do when you do the cutout ring, you just have to make that circle end before the digital data on the disc.
Or otherwise it'll scratch the shit out of it.
Yeah, and if
Mhm.
it scratches over the digital data, it'll just skip how we're used to hearing CDs skip. So I'm really excited about that design.
No, that's a really cool idea. I mean, the thing about like physical media is that like with a lot of it, it's when you buy it, you're like, how am I going to use this and when am I going to use this? And I feel like you've kind of created something where it's like you can justify slash me, I can justify a purchase of something like that because it's like maybe I don't have a CD player or maybe I don't have a vinyl player, but like if I have both, then this thing has doubled its worth.
Exactly. And a lot of the product designs that I'm trying to come up with, I like to make things that have multi-purpose uses. Like my business cards are coasters.
Probably should.
And
Okay, super creative.
so
Yeah,
for
real. I was
Like
gonna
all these
say,
ideas that I've never thought of.
yeah.
and one thing about CDs, and I've been kind of thinking, I'm kind of an environmentalist, and I don't really like using plastic.
Sure.
Mhm.
But
I've thought of
plastic's a really good medium to hold music.
Yeah, and the thing is if you're going to use it, make it multi-purpose. You know?
Yeah, and I want to be able to, especially with CDs. There's so many CD cases and CDs that are just like existing in landfills or just gathering dust,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and those can be repurposed.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
We could even take the whole disc and cut.
You make a disc out of the CD
Yeah,
case.
we can cut discs into old CDs that don't work anymore.
Mhm.
So
Cool.
that's another one of my like. I know I mentioned to you on Sunday, like I have an art manifesto for like my
Yes, you
record
did. You
label.
did. So for us to better understand you, I think we need to understand where this kind of starts. And I feel like a manifesto, the safe kind, not the not the like, oh no.
Let's not throw art in front of
Yeah,
it.
art is a very important
Yes.
prefix. So let's go ahead and figure out. Let's go ahead and find out what that is. So talk to me.
Yeah, basically, I am kind of tired of digital media. We expect things so quick, and especially on social media, everyone just wants fast little
Yeah,
clips
even
of stuff.
even us millennials who are used to waiting, like I would wait a whole day just to download like I can't even think of
An
like
album,
Jamiroquai
yeah.
or something. You know?
On
Like-
LimeWire.
Yeah, on LimeWire.
You don't say LimeWire.
Napster.
Yeah.
It's a bad word.
I'd like download 5 songs at a time, and it would literally take like 24 hours. To
Yeah,
download that.
yeah.
So.
Yeah,
Like,
so
I'll listen to
even
this
us-
tomorrow.
Yeah, and like even us millennials, like I'm so used to getting everything very quickly, like with Spotify. So
and if my phone doesn't load up something in a half a second, it's
you just
frustrating.
throw it across
Yeah.
But yeah, so like my whole goal is to make like I just want to make and print physical media that
Mhm.
people can enjoy for longer than a few seconds.
Mhm.
And what we've noticed with vinyl, and one reason why vinyl's been outselling any other form of physical media in the form of music,
mhm.
is because it lasts a long time.
Yeah.
And
Not in this heat. I feel like it would it's all just a
Well,
big pile of records now.
I mean, even if vinyls are warped, you can do things to get them to flatten out again.
Mhm.
Unlike CDs, as soon as they're scratched, they're done.
yeah.
And same thing with records. If they get some pretty deep scratches, they're pretty toast. But I mean, you can take a record and throw it around and drive over
Just
it and stuff,
use it
and
for
it-
frisbee
and
golf.
and
Fix it.
it'll still hold some audio
Yeah.
on it. If you do that with the CD, there's no way
Yeah.
it'll do that. And one thing that's really cool about the record lathe too is we can cut discs at any size.
Mhm.
So we can make them the size of a CD. And I just found out too, I thought the lathe that I'm going to get was going to be maxed out at 10 inches, but we'll be able to cut 12 inches right off the bat, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
The whole, I kind of want to make like a call to artists and musicians.
Here's the call right now.
Here's the call.
Pick up. Ring, ring.
So these big companies like Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, and social media platforms, they basically use us to create content for them.
Yeah.
And which is great. And I love the platforms.
About that last night. Like
I actually
and they also like take all your information too. They're, like they know everything about you, like from like, the inner workings of your brain,
Yeah,
they probably know more like people who are watching online are like
Facebook knows more about me than my family.
And we sign up for it. And we sign up for it too.
I was getting mad about all this and how we give them free content.
And I think it's great too. It's a great platform. I've been able to connect with like really cool people that I wouldn't have been able to connect with outside of those platforms.
For sure.
But we're also creating like free content for these companies and they're profiting off of us.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the ideas in my art manifesto is creating a resurgence in physical media. So we can make limited edition runs of singles, full lengths, cassettes, CDs, and all of that profit's going to go back to either building the record label or the studio more, to benefit the community, or the artists. So it's not, we don't have to send out our stuff to get printed anywhere. We can print it all in-house, for really cheap, at basically cost of materials and time. And I want to invest in a second record lathe so we can double production, and eventually get another one and
How
another
much are these,
one.
if you don't mind?
They range anywhere from $3,000 to $250,000.
$250,000.
That's like the Cadillac of record lathes.
Does the $250,000 model, like, does it put out more does it put out records quicker?
Those models are for
like multiple at one time.
Those are like bigger record lathes with bigger arms to cut into metal discs that you send off to pressing plants. And I guess this is a good way to explain the difference between vinyl pressing and record cutting. Vinyl pressing is when you cut a metal master disc, and then you send it to a plant and they stamp it into a vinyl disc. With record lathes, you're cutting in what's called real time. So the length of the song is how long it takes to cut the record. And that's why doing live to vinyl recording is going to be really cool, because it's just going to be the performance straight to the record in real time. And so the production to make this type of records takes a little bit longer, and that's why having another machine will make it twice as fast.
Yeah.
Some of my best friends from college, we went to music school together. They run and operate a recording studio and record label up in Seattle.
What's the name of that? You said, wasn't it like a sister company?
Yeah, Forest Ray Records. They're doing really cool stuff, recording a lot of psych rock music. Their specialty is they record 100% analog, and bring their...
It's got to be expensive.
It's expensive, yeah. Recording analog is expensive, and it's very tedious. It's definitely a science, and I can explain why it like sounds better to me, and in a second. But yeah, so the goal is to have 2 record lathes here in Portland and 2 record lathes at their studio up in Seattle, so that we can make and print and distribute physical media between Seattle and Portland, and combine our efforts to do shows together where we can connect the music community more between the 2 cities. So yeah, and then the difference between digital and analog recording, when you're recording music, everything's being captured in sine waves. And the way that gets processed digitally is in binary, in zeros and ones. So if you zoom really, really close in on the sine wave, it's going to look like steps going up like this and then back down like that.
I've noticed that, but I didn't know what it meant.
Yeah, so when you're recording, when you're recording magnetically,
seen it, but I was like, I don't understand why it does.
Yeah, so like
it doesn't look like a sign at all.
When you record magnetically, those sound waves are perfectly round, and that's kind of the aesthetic that you hear when you're listening to older music.
It sounds fuller to me.
It's nostalgic sounding. Yeah. And that's why I think there's a resurgence in like analog recording happening right now. People are remembering like tape sounds really good. So I'm really excited that I have functioning tape machines because they're very like delicate machines, and they take a lot of maintenance and time, and even finding good tape is hard. There's a couple companies that are making tape right now, again, which is great.
Like the actual tape for like when you're making
duct tape.
Tapes.
Yeah, like the reel that has
like
the
stuff
magnetic
that
tape
you have to
on
wind
it.
back up with a pen.
Yeah.
Into your seat or into your tape.
Is that the best way to read? Is that the best way to
So cassettes, so cassettes have tape in them, right? They have 1/8-inch tape. And they're on tiny little reels. And you've probably seen...
For the like 20-year-olds out here who've never seen a tape before.
Yes, has nothing to do with Instagram.
Well, if you've seen Stranger Things, you've seen cassettes.
Only frame of reference.
So like, and you've probably seen reel-to-reel machines on movies and old...
where it's like spinning around.
So the big reels... they spin around and then it presses the audio signal into the tape. And one of the goals that I have with the record lathe is I'm going to outfit it to be able to come out of the recording studio in a roller case with...
What is a roller case?
Basically, it's just like a big case that
case
like
with rollers,
and so you just roll it. So it's like really
That's
secure.
exactly what I pictured.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was a dumb question. I was trying to be inquisitive, and I seem to have made myself look like an idiot.
Well, you never know. I mean, that's just what I pictured. But
I was like, does that have like to do with like a roller rink? There's
some roller skates.
So, hopefully, what I could do with this is outrig one of my stereo tape machines. With the record lathe, and I want to be able to get hired for service to like come to an event.
Yeah.
Like say a band wants to have a single live to vinyl cut during their set. I'd have it set up on the side of the stage with 2 ribbon microphones feeding the signal into the tape machine, and then what's being pressed on the tape machine then gets cut to the vinyl. And the concept with that is I want to be able to provide this service for local bands, and I want them to be able to afford it also.
Sure.
So ideally at an event like that, we'd make a master disc that gets raffled with either pre-sale tickets to the show or at the show. People can.
Could it be like one of those things where it's like check under your seat? All right.
Oh yeah, we could, and Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, wait, why is everyone sitting? This is supposed to be a show.
We have a special surprise for you.
Yeah. So, and then that master disc gets made, and then we make a copy of it right there to vault. And then whoever attends that event ends up with a really special thing that's going to last a really long time. It could be
they were also there to hear it.
Yeah, they were there to hear it. They could see it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a really good point.
And that's just kind of the beginning with like the outboard gear setups.
I think that it's really cool that you are trying to bring back physical media, and you're trying to bring it back in a way that like makes it unique in kind of the way that like and then you kind of brought this up on Sunday when we were talking, but like NFTs, where it's just like I have something that no one else does and I paid for it, or I got it in a raffle, or just being able to create something that is very unique to that person. And like Carissa had said, you got to see that live performance, and now you have a copy of that live performance on a vinyl, which is like, not everyone has a vinyl of it, and not everyone has a vinyl of the performance that they saw. So that creates a lot of nostalgia, it creates a lot of personal value, it creates a lot of value to people who maybe weren't there, that are like, wait, you have a copy of their live set from, you know what I mean? Like that could have been their best performance of that song.
Yeah.
Better than the album version. And I feel like definitely with like, as far as like, performing and stuff, like I almost feel like my live performances are better than my, in studio performances, just because, just the performance you give an audience.
That special energy too.
Exactly.
You have the energy of the audience.
You have the energy to feed off of, because if I'm just rapping in here, like I'm not going to be able to. I'm rapping to myself, or I'm rapping to the rich. Yeah, we're actually gonna freestyle right now. Again, Dez is gonna. I'm gonna pass it off to Dez. But yeah, I think that it's really cool that you see the need for us to almost get back to a sense of like, hey, here's this thing, let me hand it out to you, but like not making it wasteful, and making it multi-use.
Yeah, and another thing with that too, with the specialized items, I've been kind of formulating the business model and structure for the record label. I've been asking people, do you have CDs, cassettes, or vinyls? And most people, they say, yeah, I have some CDs.
I'm on Spotify.
I have some CDs. I might have some cassettes that are like my dad's old cassettes or whatever. It's like, oh yeah, I have a little stack of vinyls. This city's really big on like vinyls. We have like some of the best record stores that I've ever been to, with specialized local vinyls. I've been kind of tearing apart the record stores in town, trying to find all the lathe cut records I can find for design ideas. There's another person in the Pacific Northwest that does lathe cut records. I just want to give a shout out to that person, Gorby Lathes.
Gorby Lathes.
Yeah, and they're really cool. I've had some personal friends get some discs cut by them. And so the whole purpose of what I think, and I want to give a shout out to Michael Dixon, who's modifying my record lathe right now. He's doing really important work. He's
like the echo.
He's going around going around buying up all these old record lathe machines and modding them with new technology so that we can cut in 33.5 or 45 RPMs.
Okay.
My machine has an outboard motor that's belt driven. And then he took apart the record cutter head and put a really nice cutter head on it with sapphire cutter. And after learning how to cut, the gems are really fragile because they're really small. So if they get dropped too hard,
with gems.
With gems, yeah. So if it gets dropped too hard, the gem will chip. And so first, me and all the cutters that are going to learn how to cut at the studio, we're going to learn on sapphire gems. Eventually, we're going to upgrade the
diamonds.
To diamonds. Yeah, we're going to literally upgrade it to diamonds because they're the hardest stone. They can cut into plastic, glass, metal. we'll be able to make glass records.
Glass
I was able to
records.
I was
find-
going to ask about
Crazy.
wood. Can you make? I think I've seen wood ones before.
So a couple designs I have that incorporate wood. The coolest thing about this record lathe is you can cut music onto plexiglass.
Mm-hmm.
So we can buy sheets of plexiglass at Home Depot and cut
Super
them into
cheap.
5-inch squares,
Mm-hmm.
and then cut the music into those 5-inch squares. And they look really cool because they're transparent. They're
Yeah, I've seen 'em.
squares, and which isn't a disc.
Yeah, at first I was like, it's a square. Do you like pop out the circle? But it's just
Yeah,
just a
and
square.
that design is really great because it's really affordable. And so imagine the same thing, but with a glass square. And I was able to find one of these glass lathe cut records down at a record store in South Oregon.
Wow.
And the guy was so funny because I asked him, hey, pull out all your lathe cut records. I want to check them out. And he's like, I have a really cool one. It's cut on glass. And he pulls it out, and I was like, all right,
And then
bro.
he was cut on glass.
I was like, all right, bro, how much? And he's like, not for sale. I was like, really? No. How much? And he's like, not for sale. And I was like, okay, I'm going to throw my card in the
Every
sleeve.
man has his price.
I was like, I'm going to throw my card in the sleeve for you. And when you want to sell it, hit me up. But he played it for me. And the fidelity was just incredible. It's like
does
the
it have-
highest fidelity.
I feel like it would have a much different sound than vinyl.
Clear,
Like, is it
crystal
it's
clear.
Okay, I
Like
would think that it would have
crystal
more
clear.
reverb for some reason, but it's just
Imagine
clear sounds.
like
being in person, but better.
just really.
This is better than real life.
So when you listen to vinyl, it has that kind of sound to it, and that
Mhm.
can be caused by dust or anything like that. So just imagine like listening to a record, but just totally crystal.
Can you just like
clear
stick it in the
sounding.
dishwasher? You know, just throw it, pop
It
it
was
in there
so
real quick?
cool. It was like on some green glass.
Oh my god, that sounds
and
gorgeous.
it was packaged in like a little box. And so like, and the reason why I'm bringing that up is because I want to make really special things like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the fans of artists can buy their limited edition run of that.
Yeah, they
Like
could
the
say like,
glass
there's only 10
record.
of these.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
And so one thing, and I'll jump back to what I was saying about asking people if they have these forms of media, and a lot of people, they don't. And so the way that I want to get these, the way that I want to get this into people's hands is a subscription model. And if you sign up as a subscriber to the record label, every month you get a package sent to you that's cassettes, CDs, lathe cut records,
Mhm.
That's cool.
stickers, whatever
Awesome.
we have that month.
Is
Might-
it going to be
maybe
all like
include-
local music?
Local music, ideally. So I want to provide a service for making records for people outside of the city. All of the stuff that we're going to release on the record label is going to be recorded in-house.
Mm-hmm.
All of the stuff that's going to be distributed by the record label is going to be recorded and printed in-house. If you don't have a way to play CDs, cassettes, or vinyls, I'm going to have a starter kit that you can buy that includes a Discman, a Walkman, and a portable
my
battery-powered
favorites.
record player.
Yes.
Wait, a portable battery powered record. I've never had one of those before.
They come
I
in
think
they
the one
come
that I
in
use
little
the most
tiny.
is probably a tape player, like a little Walkman. Because they have
Walkman.
clips, you can just clip them into your
Yeah.
Your belt loop.
yeah.
So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
And then the record players are their little briefcase record players. You can bring them to the park. You can sync up Bluetooth with
I have
them.
seen one of those before.
Yeah. So I'm hoping to invest in like a bulk buy of just a bunch of
Yeah,
those. So,
well, I
so
mean,
we can
the-
sell them for cheaper
Yeah, the thing
than
that's
Amazon.
that's
Yeah.
difficult with like a lot of that stuff is like I don't mind having CDs, but I don't have a CD player. I don't mind having vinyls, but I don't have anything to play it on. So if you give me a package where now you are not only giving me the things that I want to be able to listen to, but a way to listen to them, then it makes it more accessible to the people who, that want these things, but don't necessarily have the things to play them on.
Exactly. And ideally, once we have enough music recorded under the record label, I want people to be able to pick what type of music they like the best, and then we can curate packages for them of like styles of music that they really like.
Hey, you like Portland hip hop? Here's a bunch of Portland hip hop.
Exactly. And then but some people don't like punk rock music, you know? So it's like, I'm not going to
some people don't like hip hop.
I'm not going to force punk rock music on someone that doesn't like it.
No friend of mine.
Listen to this, you know?
We got you 50 of these. Yeah, you don't like it. Use it for
like
disc golf.
After this week.
Give it to your friends.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's really cool that you have like just you have so many great ideas. And talking to you Sunday, I got to really see just how creative that you are. Because the hardest thing about I would say like just creating a product is like creating it in a way that makes it worthwhile for the person buying it. And
and I'd say also like something that sets you apart from the other
lathe cutters.
All 100 of us in the world.
Not just cool, ways of recording the music, but also like you have some really cool design ideas. Like you showed us one of your, I think it was a plexiglass.
The picture disc?
Yeah, but then you put two discs together, and then you like put like a picture like in between.
Yeah, so my friend, his artist handle is Yum Songs with 3 M's. He's one of my high school friends, really great guy. Matt Bedrosian is his name. He put out a lathe cut record a couple years ago that I picked up, and what Carissa was explaining, and I'm sure some of you are familiar with picture discs is what they're called, where they print an image onto the vinyl disc. We're going to be able to make picture discs by cutting a plexiglass disc, gluing a picture in between that
or cucumbers
and another disc
or cucumber.
Oh,
that's a secret.
Carrots.
Secrets. You'll find out soon. So, and then the back disc is a solid color disc.
Yeah.
And they end up looking really nice because they're a little bit thicker. They feel like 128 gram weighted vinyl.
And they look really cool too.
Yeah.
Like encaustic, like if you're a painter, it looks kind of like that.
Yeah. And
or resin almost.
To jump back to my like call to artists is I want musicians in town here to like, come up with something cool, like a creative idea, a creative design idea that's really going to appeal to your fans. And hit me up and let's do some work and make something look really cool. Cause I want to make physical media that like they're collector's items. They look like art pieces. You might want to, some of them eventually I'm going to package to be like hung on a wall. So that you can pull the disc out of the wall art and listen to it and have something to enjoy, to look at, kind of like album art, but it's like existing outside of your record shelf.
Yeah.
No.
And so, and I'm open to like a ton of different design ideas. Once we get the record lathe is going to be installed the second week of August and we're ready to hit the ground running. We're going to have 6 cutters, including myself there, taking a master class from Michael Dixon. And the idea behind that is because the demand for vinyl is so high right now. I've been going around to local shows in town asking bands, do you have any vinyl? If they do, they have a really limited stock. And to get new vinyl, the back order is 6 months to 2 years.
That's not too bad.
It's not too bad.
No, it's bad.
Well, it's not too bad if you're patient, but
I'm not.
People want like, especially fans of artists, when artists release their 500 run of vinyl, they sell out like that. And then the fan has to wait 6 months to a year to get it. And I want to make that time shorter.
By then I'll have a new album.
Yeah. And that's what's happening. And the only, like some of the few places that are receiving orders, like one of the only places receiving orders for new vinyls is luckily here in Portland, but that's because we have a market for it. The other place is the Czech Republic. So not only are you paying premium price to get your vinyl right now,
Shipping and
you have
handling.
to pay shipping from across the
And
other
that's
side of the
also
globe.
not great for the environment.
It's not great for the environment. It's not great for the artists because we're already struggling as artists.
Yeah, I needed to
Because
sell this now.
people expect art for free, especially music. People expect music for free or for $9.99 a month, unlimited,
Yeah.
to whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I want to create physical media that looks really cool, because musicians are tired of working service industry jobs.
Yeah.
And
I love it. I actually work service industry to fuel. No, I make music to fuel my service industry addiction.
And I did that for a really long time. Like I built the recording studio by doing Uber and Lyft and DoorDash and Grubhub and Caviar, and I grinded.
Please give me some tips.
A really long time. Oh yeah, I had a Super Nintendo in my Uber Lyft car.
Oh yeah. No, that's secret. That needs to go. You got to be careful with that information.
Yeah, I want every Uber Lyft driver in the city to have a Nintendo in their car.
Honestly, I think the world would be a little bit better.
I would probably call somebody for a ride just so I can drive around.
No, people would.
Do you have my save?
Honestly, if I had enough money to do that, I'd be like, "This is what I'm doing on a Friday night."
I had people had my personal. People had my personal. They'd text me.
If I see somebody cool, I'm like, "Hey, come in here and let's play multiplayer games."
Yeah, exactly.
They'd text me. They'd be like, "Yo, are you in this part of town?" And I'd be like, "Not right now, but
I can be."
Yeah, it was fun.
For $10.
But anyways, we're all tired of doing our service industry jobs, and like we deserve more as artists. And
we deserve to have the thing that we're creating pay for the thing that we want to continue to create.
Exactly. And I feel really, really blessed because I've kind of set myself up to be able to do that right now with the recording studio. But I had to work really, really hard to get to that point. And I talked to you two about this a little bit, but I'm coming out of a year and a half of cancer treatment. I got diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer 2 years ago.
Wow.
And that really put the fire under me because I was building, I had started building the recording studio in December of 2019. And it was a slow process. I'd build for about 4 hours on either end of my 8 to 10 hour work shift. And as soon as I got diagnosed with cancer, I basically said, F this. I'm going to quit everything. I've been doing this since I was a kid. I need to really pursue it. I went to school for music. And I'm tired of working these service jobs because I feel like I get burned out from that and I don't have enough fuel for my creative energy.
Definitely.
Yeah, and you're working to make money for rich people too.
Exactly.
Rather than for you.
For people who already have money. Yeah.
So, and we're all tired of it. You know, I don't know how many shows I've gone to
Nobody
recently.
wants to work anymore.
I don't know how many shows I've gone to recently where people are singing about they're tired of their 9-to-5 job.
Yeah, I don't mean that I'm tired of working. I'm tired of working 9-to-5 jobs for big corporations.
Oh, I love
not doing it anymore.
I love working and it's funny. You quit your job, and then all of a sudden it's like you go from 30 to 40 hours a week to like 60 to 80 hours a week.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
It's like really cool. Like,
No. I 100% think that just because it's like when the pandemic hit, I was just like, you know what I need is more free time. And then I got all the free time. I was like, you know what I need is less free time. So that way I value it.
Yeah. And then going through all the cancer stuff during the pandemic was like pretty rough too. And I was right about to die. Like I was down to 110 pounds. My doctor gave me just like a few months to live. I had a point, I didn't even look this up until after I had remission, but I had a 0.01% chance of making it.
Jesus.
And I basically have 100% chance of cancer relapse, but it's not going to come back because I was able to, I basically had to like kill my old self and like enter this new life. As like a new person. And I had to unlearn a bunch of old behaviors that were causing me stress all the time. And that's why I was like F everything else. I'm going to do what I'm meant to do. And it's been really hard, but one way, I was just talking to one of my artist friends too. Everything always ends up working out, which is great because I started a fundraiser for the record lathe. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who's donated to that and everyone who helped me secure the deposit on the machine also.
Yeah.
And I recently found out that I won the Portland RACC
I
Arts
wasn't
grant.
sure. I was going to bring that up.
I'm really excited about that because I've been stressed the F out trying to get the funds to start this record label.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of overheads for this. And like any business, you expect to like not really make any profit for the first couple years. I've been open for a year now officially. The recording studio has been open for a year. And the record label started this month and we're already selling units. So I'm like really excited about that.
That's awesome.
But now, and I was stressing about like getting the money for this machine. And then I was telling my friend who's another full-time artist this morning, I was like, dude, I just kind of like, that day I was like, hey, I'm just gonna kind of let go of that stress because it's gonna work out. And then 30 minutes later, I got the award grant, or I got the award letter.
That's something, a life lesson that y'all should really pay attention to is like, it's going to end up working out in the end the way it's supposed to end up working out. Of course, you want to keep trying, but there's not really any point of like having anxiety or stressing about something. But I know that's easier said than done.
Yeah, but that's what I did all the time because I think that's like learned ancestral trauma that I have.
Well, it feels like you have control if you're worrying, even though you don't. It feels like, well, at least I'm doing something, and it's like not anything effective, but yes, you are technically doing something.
Yeah, and then that's just putting that energy like out into the universe to like potentially manifest itself into reality.
Yeah. Yep.
And
if you're always thinking about the bad shit,
you're
might
just creating more bad shit.
I had to unlearn all that stuff because like that's probably one of the big reasons why like my cancer went into remission.
Yeah.
Is because
you were manifesting, I just had to not worrying about it.
And your mind is, very powerful too. Like your mind controls your body. And if you're like, have a good mindset,
there's a great book.
Your body's connected to your brain.
There's this great book. There two books actually by Dr. Joe Dispenza. One of them's called You Are the Placebo. The other one's called Becoming Supernatural. Those two books like really, really saved my life, to be honest. And it's just all about the power of like, and this isn't a new thing, we are the creators of our own reality. We can step into whatever life we want to.
I really like Joe Dispenza's stuff. He has, what's his other one that he has?
There's You Are the Placebo, Becoming Supernatural, and then there's another one, but I didn't read that one.
That's the one I read, but that's the one. That's the one, is that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed his stuff just because it was basically just the idea that, like, we almost get addicted to the chemicals that we create by thinking the same thoughts. Like when you think a thought, you create a chemical, and then by always thinking the same thoughts, you create the same chemical. So your body is constantly getting this chemical of like, I feel sad, I feel shitty.
Yeah.
And then your body gets addicted to it. So it's like you just create the same feeling because your body just keeps thinking that it needs that I feel shitty chemical.
And then it also makes these real deeply rooted pathways in your brain so that you're used to going down those pathways.
Yeah.
And then you like get into the
neurons that fire together.
But we all have the capability to change those pathways and unlearn them and relearn new pathways.
Yeah.
And learn and I started kind of getting into that like before all the cancer stuff. It was like also kind of at the end of 2019 when I decided like, okay, it's time to build a recording studio. It was before that, it was a personal practice space for me and my bands and stuff. But yeah, and I wouldn't even imagine where it would get to at this point if I saw how well built some of the things I built at the studio are 3 years ago, I wouldn't
Mhm.
have believed that I built them.
Yeah, I feel like that. Like you wake up and you're like, wow, I actually have this thing that I created.
Yeah, and you very
how did I
much
get it?
should
Yeah.
be like proud of it,
Yeah,
because
definitely.
not everybody gets even like an isolation booth in their house, let alone like a practice space, an isolation booth, a record lathe, like
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
And, I just want to say that there are a lot of things that are shitty, or sorry, I'm trying not to cuss as much on this episode.
oh yeah, whoops.
Things that are
That's why I said
crappy.
effed.
I forgot.
There's a lot of things that I don't like about the U.S., but I really believe that if you really want something, you can get it. Like
Yeah,
there's,
absolutely.
money is energy, and if you really want to be a popular artist, like a household name, I think you can do it. I
Yeah,
believe you
and
can
that's
do
a
it.
really great thing
It's all
about
about. It's not all about mindset. Like, of course, if you're born into a rich family, that definitely helps. But
Yes, it does.
oh yeah.
there's always a way to get to where you really.
Totally. And so I guess that's another thing I can bring up too is one of the business models that I'm also trying to work towards at the recording studio is actually an adaptation of one of the recording studios I helped build and run in California,
Mm.
where we had a group of in-house engineers that ran the whole studio together. And we all split the overheads as like membership costs
Mhm.
so that we could get really, really cheap studio time
Yeah.
for our projects. And so if you are an experienced audio engineer, if you've worked in a professional recording studio before, hit me up. I'm training a few people right now.
We know a guy.
Yeah. So I'm training a few people right now. And the whole idea behind that is if all the engineers split the overhead costs, then that was also another opportunity for those engineers to make income so that they can quit their crappy
They're
jobs.
Crappy jobs. They're scrappy jobs.
Yeah.
Scrappy,
No
scrappy.
offense
So
to
they're
all
scrappy jobs.
the fellow bartenders
No,
out there.
and
but-
I
Like,
think those,
All the
Not-
offense. If you want to
not
be a
everybody-
musician, just get in
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Just
and
quit your job.
and
Yeah.
I love that type of work too. Like I was a server for a really long time. I
Mhm.
find it extremely gratifying.
I love bringing people
But
food.
it's
Talk
also
about
really
not being
hard.
patient. You get quick
Yeah,
money.
it's also really hard.
So it's hard to like move on to a different job because you're like, because I make, twice as much per hour, but I'm not like,
Yeah.
doing my passion.
And I have a
something
lot
I'm
of like
passionate about.
I have a lot of injuries on my body too, and so it
Mhm.
was just making those worse. And now, especially like coming out of all the cancer treatment and stuff, I've had a ton of surgeries, so my energy is just a lot lower. I have to like sit regularly, and that's another reason why I need help at the studio is because it's a lot of work.
Mhm.
Well, if you ever need help from somebody who doesn't know anything about technology or sound, hit me up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're like,
I
if
put
you,
up these sound panels.
if
so.
you like
I can help,
making,
just put me to work.
if you like making,
Good at hammering.
if you like making art, we're going to need a lot of art made for,
We're just kind of setting the vibe.
yeah, every quarter. One of my goals with the subscription model is every quarter I want to put out a print publication
Mm.
of,
That's something I could definitely help.
yeah, of like interviews of the
As if
people
I
that are
need,
coming into the studio.
Another project, but that does
pictures.
sound very fun.
Yeah,
You're
flyers,
interested.
flyers from the shows, like
Mhm.
because I'm so tired of scrolling. I work with like looking at computers all day,
Yeah.
and it hurts my eyes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And that's why I really like recording analog too, because I can just leave
Yeah.
the computers off.
Mhm.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
After I just like did some, I don't know, deep diving on like on the internet yesterday, and I was like, I need to like be more off the grid and I think maybe I should get a record player because eventually I'm gonna live on a commune and
Yeah, and I
won't
love
have
the
a computer,
internet.
so I better start.
Don't get me wrong. I think the internet
my
is
collection together.
wonderful.
I do too,
love
but
the internet.
I just don't like.
but it's also
How
evil.
plugged in we are is a little
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, and how everything's being tracked so that that people can sell you shit, like companies can sell you stuff.
Yeah, and they're
It
tracking
just-
what we're doing so they
Yeah.
can target advertise, and it's so
Mhm.
obvious. It's like I was just
Everybody knows it.
Yeah, it's
Which makes it even worse is that like we're all aware that they're just taking all of our information. It's like, well, I mean, what are you gonna do? Not use the internet? And it's just like
what I've noticed is like people our age realize that, but the younger generation, they don't realize that that's happening because they're growing up with it. Like my niece and nephew, they don't realize that they're getting targeted ads, and I don't think and eventually, I don't think they will.
Yeah, well, it's like they're not going to teach that in school. Be like, so if you click on this, then they're going to continue to funnel you ads for it. Like, there's no education unless your parents are like, don't click on that, otherwise you're going to get 50 of them.
Exactly, and I think like the best part about my favorite thing about listening to music on vinyl or cassettes or CDs is it's very interactive.
Oh, you have to pop it out. You get to put it in. You get to look at the artwork.
You got to flip the disc over after 24 minutes. You know, and unlike digital streaming, it's like you just put something on and you could just have it in the background.
Yeah.
A lot of the
Well, and you don't have to like pick what you want, you know? Like if I were to go out and be like, okay, I'm going to go out and I'm out for, 7 hours, then I have to pick the 7 discs or whatever that I want to listen to, you know?
Yeah.
With streaming, it's just like, whatever, I'll just play something. It's on random. Okay, cool. It's like, but you have to like commit and be like, no, this is what I want to listen to. I'm listening to the full album, you know, or it only has 4 good songs, so I'm skipping most of them. You know, it's very interactive.
Exactly. And then I guess and before we got like 10 minutes left on the show.
We haven't even done our segments yet.
You're all good. Keep talking.
Well, I guess
we like to talk.
One thing I'm really excited for too, and that I wanted to talk about on this show too, is thing I'm trying to do for like the Pacific Northwest hip hop community is I want to make samples. I want to make like breakbeat records. So people can like spin vinyl during their sets with a bunch of really cool things. They could be customized. They can make whatever breakbeat records they want.
I always wanted one. Like when I was younger and I wanted to like get into like rapping and stuff, I was like, man, I want to be able to like scratch, like this sample and did it. And it was just like, all right, cool. So all you need is $200. And if you ever scratch this, then you're out for forever. You know?
Totally. And these things, they can be scratched up as many times as you want, and
just make me another one.
We can make them real small too, so they're more portable, so you don't have to bring a whole crate of records.
Tiny little.
And then can I talk about like the collab idea?
Yes.
Do you want to bring it up a little bit?
So we're planning on doing a fundraiser collaboration. And
a fabulation.
The fundraiser, we're looking for an organization to donate to, but we want to donate to like local musicians and preferably children.
And preferably children in like underprivileged communities too that don't have access to music. If any of you know of any like local organizations like that, leave it in the comments or send us a message or something.
If you know of a good organization. But can you talk about in detail what Zane and I will be recording our show. We didn't even tell Philip about this. Philip,
surprise, Philip!
Surprise!
Our sound person. So we will be recording at your studio. It'll be like a 2-hour long show. It'll be like a special, if you will. And
extravaganza, if you want.
And we'll be talking about the organization. We'll be getting a little bit more information to you on the organization that we're donating to. We'll be talking to, we'll be interviewing the artists and talking with you a little bit more. And what we will be doing is recording live to vinyl and
live to cassette.
Yeah,
for this
live
one.
to cassette.
Yeah.
Okay, you explain.
Okay. So I've always been fascinated with hip hop culture, and my cousin got me into it when I was a kid, and so it's just been a big influence on my music, and I've studied like the history of it, and it's one of my passions for sure. So one thing that hip hop artists used to do in the 80s and 90s was they would make like mixtapes on cassettes. So the idea of that is we're gonna take that idea, but we're gonna kind of modernize it with new technology. We'll have a live drummer, turntable artist, bass player and MCs all doing a freestyle hip hop flow, and it's going to be recorded straight to 2 cassettes that whatever the music, whatever happens during that performance, it's only going to exist on those 2 cassettes.
Unless and on our live stream also.
And on the live stream. Yeah. You'll be able to watch it on the live stream, but the physical product that we're going to have is only going to exist on those 2 cassettes. And then we're going to raffle those cassettes to raise money for a cause and for the record label so that we can get the stuff to make merchandise.
Yes.
Yeah.
So tune in for that. Did we pick a date for that yet?
7th.
The 7th, maybe? Okay, well, yeah, just
I think we're planning
follow us on
doing
social
it on
media.
the 7th.
Carissa does. It's Zane Thomas and
Fortune Ave Studio.
Fortune Ave Studio on Instagram.
Yeah.
And we will let you know on the date that we will be doing that.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. That's going to hopefully raise some funds so we can buy the material we need to start cutting records as soon as the lathe gets here. And there's a handful of more things coming along the lines of that with the live to vinyl recordings, doing some more consistent broadcasts out of the studio featuring different artists. The broadcast that I'm most excited for is once we get the record lathe in the studio up and running, I'm going to have a record label launch party.
Ooh.
And we're all gonna take turns
getting
performing.
drunk and freestyling.
We're all gonna take turns recording our songs as single cuts live to vinyl with the record lathe, and we're gonna cut them on plexiglass discs with gold flake glued in between the 2 transparent
Goldschlager
discs.
poured in between.
And then I'm gonna get some real nice stickers made so we can slap them on the vinyls as they're being cut, and then we're gonna do the same thing. We'll raffle them off during the broadcast one at a time, so that people can see the whole process, because a lot of people have never seen the process of live to vinyl recording. And I think the thing, and you asked me like what am I most excited for, as I've been diving into like learning how to record on tape machines, I've realized that like it's a real magical thing that happens where we're pressing audio signal magnetically to tape. With the record lathe, we're going to be taking those vibrations and cutting them into plastic with vibration. So we'll be able to streamline recording with with magnets and vibration. Yeah. And that's what's really cool about it, I think, because we're taking away the digital component, and it's like
digital.
a pure
F digital. Take that, digital.
I love digital recording too.
Yeah.
But
all right.
We're going to be playing on digital later.
We have about a minute and a half, and we want to do our off the cuff rapid fire. If anybody has any quick questions, like yes or no questions that you want to ask away in the comment sections. Hey, Nick, do you remember when I used to rap and record to a cassette tape? I know Nick from way back.
Hey,
to my rapper days.
Yeah. I just saw them rapping at the studio.
I wouldn't call that rapping, but it's like talking.
It all worked out.
Talking, but it sounded great.
Okay, rapid fire.
I thought it was rapping.
Analog.
Chain? Or what are we supposed to do?
Oh,
word association.
Sorry.
Word association.
We say a word, you say a word that the first word or like short phrase that you think of.
Oh,
okay.
It's like
quick.
The first word was necklace.
Okay, so chain. Okay. Cool. Analog.
Tape.
Record.
Vinyl.
Nice. Let's see. Violins.
Cello.
Ooh.
Cello. Beastie Boys.
Boom. Boom boom cat.
Heavy metal. Oh wait.
Ooh, no, you're good. No, I love it. Let's see. Distorted guitars.
I'm just gonna make
onomatopoeias.
Sounds,
yeah, I love it. Let's see. Rap.
DJ Master Flash, because I've been reading a lot of his stuff recently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Piano.
Bach.
Mm,
All right.
Yeah.
solid. Everyone in the comment section is just talking about targeted ads, which is just creating more targeted ads.
Yes.
So thank you.
Yeah, we don't have any questions, but there is some good conversation happening, and Nick definitely remembers my raps.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed now, but
Yes.
Yeah,
Those fun
and I'm a very approachable person too. Like, please send me a message on social media.
oh yeah, give him a follow again. Fortune
Yes.
Ave Studio
Yeah.
on Instagram.
And-
Are you on Facebook?
I'm on Facebook too.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I just want to say thanks to
Absolutely.
Des and
Zane, pew pew.
for hosting me here and bringing me on the show.
Absolutely.
I'm really excited what you all are doing. And
Thank
I
you.
can't
We
wait
have a
for
lot
the
of cool
collaboration.
stuff coming up, the collaboration, and also something that we want to announce is that we will be collaborating with Lose Your Mind Fest, and we'll be interviewing some artists and the founder
Yeah.
of that. So
I was looking
heard
at
it
you. I'm
here
just like, what are
first.
we announcing?
Surprise.
Yeah, for real. I'm like,
I'm
ooh.
actually getting married, and we're doing it live on our show
Nice.
next week.
At Lose
And
Your
then
Mind
there-
Fest.
And then there will be a divorce
Yeah.
The
lawyer.
following week.
Yeah,
following-
absolutely.
Getting
Absolutely.
that
But we're going to
announced.
record it live to vinyl. So
We
it should
streamline
be-
stuff
Yep.
these
Yeah.
days.
It'll be
Yeah.
interesting.
Marriage, divorce right away.
Happens that quickly. Also, check out Chunk. Is it on Spotify?
Yeah, Chunk's on Spotify. And I'm trying to get rid of those units because they're taking up too much space in
Not
the
get
studio.
rid of, but
Yes.
Distribute. Distribute. No, so I'm gonna give them away. I want to give them away. Hit
So
me
hit
up
us up.
if you
Hit
want
us
a
up
free
and
CD.
get a free CD.
Yeah, if you want a free CD, hit me up and I'll send you one of those CDs because I still have like 300 units and they're just taking up space. So
Perfect. Awesome. Well,
It's kind
thank
of like me when I describe food. I'm like, it's disgusting, but you'll
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to it yet, but I actually am excited.
it's good. It's funk, instrumental, jazz, music, lots of
Nice.
horns,
Beautiful.
lots of guitar solos.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Excellent. Well, thank you
Well,
for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
you.
And we will see you very soon when we
Yes.
do our collab at Fortune Avenue Studio, Fortune Avenue Records. If you need anything recorded musically, music wise, hit him up.
And
Thank
if
you
I
so
can't
much.
do it, I know a bunch of other people that can too.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. This has been Off the Cuff with Des and Zane. I've been Zane Thomas.
And I'm Carissa Des.
And this has been our guest,
Kyler.
Kyler. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Peace, love, donuts.
Pew pew. Pew.